I'd been just sitting home, you know, really having a hard time emotionally. And Mr. Axford came over one afternoon with his wife, and he said, Wilma, you need to go to work. And he said, not just for money, but so you won't lose your mind.
Yeah.
And I said, Gordon, I don't know how to do anything. And he said, you have one skill that you were inborn. You were born with that skill. You are very good with young people, and young people like you. He said, they had 4 children. He said, you're going to be a sorority house mother at Fresno State College. And I said, Gordon, you're crazy. I've never been, I don't know anything about it. And he said, you don't have to know how to do anything to be a house mother. So I said, oh. So in the meantime, my daughter lived in Salinas at that time. And she said, Mother, you can't live alone here anymore. You come and stay with us. So I went and, well, I was there about 2 months and all. But anyway, so then she drove me to Fresno State because Gordon had made the arrangements for me to have an interview with the sorority,
Right.
which I knew nothing about. So the name of the sorority was Delta Theta. And so I went to the sorority house. The sorority grew, there are still to this day 6 sororities on the mall. So I went for, and they had me, it was in the afternoon, about 2 o'clock. And the girls' president interviewed me. Oh, and then of course I made sure I was well groomed. That was nylons and heels, and that's when
Gotta do
we
that.
didn't wear pants. And so the president of the girls and another girl, we had a nice interview, and we had tea and a cookie and all this stuff.
Tea.
So that was fine, and they said, well, could you come in a couple of more days, and could you come for dinner? It's about 5 o'clock in the evening, and early evening, and I said, well, I can arrange that. So I had to go clear back. I used to drive a little Dodge Colt, yellow. Went back to Salinas. So then I went for the dinner interview. Well, that was fun. Then they interviewed me for lunch, and then they interviewed me for breakfast. And I thought, well, this is getting kind of old. But, well, anyway, in the meantime, my well-meaning good friends were all telling me how to act. Okay. You know, just, be very ladylike, you know, don't show too much your emotions too much. So, okay, so then they said, Mrs. Bowden, my name was Bowden, and B-O-D-I-N, and they said, Mrs. Bowden, we would really be happy if you would be our house mother. So I said, oh, you what? And I jumped in. I did everything I wasn't supposed to do. So I was going to start work in the fall, and I was to go to work 2 weeks before school started. Oh, so then I had to start thinking about my wardrobe. And my daughter was a very good seamstress, so she sewed some clothes for me, and I bought some. I'd have all these shoes. Anyway, so off I went, and then I remember about 2 weeks before school starts, when they have the sororities and fraternities have their rush.
Time, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, I enjoyed every minute of that. Oh, I really loved it. So anyway, that's how I got started, and I worked there 5 years.
Really? That is wonderful.
And then in the summertime, in the meantime, I sold my house, and I had no home, nothing. So my children, I have a son and a daughter.
So did your second husband die too?
Well,
Did your second husband die also?
Well, yeah, but I didn't even know him then.
Oh, okay, this, all right.
I didn't
All right.
even know I was single.
This is down, okay, in between, all right.
So anyway, so then time went by. And funny, I said to my daughter, you know what, Betty? I am very tired of group living. I'm gonna take my chances. I'm going to quit, and I'm gonna get just some kind of a little pickup job with what I do have. I'll be fine. So she said, well, Mother, where do we live? And I said, oh, I don't know. Well, in the meantime, her husband had been transferred to El Centro, California. And it's bad enough weather-wise now. But back then, not only was it bad weather-wise, but it was a rinky-dink town, just about 10 minutes drive to Mexicali, Mexico. So, okay, off I went, not knowing what I was getting into. Oh, it was terrible. So I stayed with my daughter for a while. I said, well, I can't live with you. I have to, you know, I'll get my own place. So I got an apartment. And
But I didn't know whether I started on time or what. 5 minutes, okay.
okay. And anyway, so what I said to Betty, Betty's husband had been transferred there. And I said, ooh, I have to work. I can't just sit around like this. So I got a job at the only skill I had, and that was an answering service downtown.
Great.
So that's what I did, and that's how I got started.
Yeah, that would be a good tie-in to what you had been
It was
doing
great.
and everything. So, and then with this gentleman, when did he pass away? After you married the
After I got married the second time.
Yes.
Oh, he just died 3 years ago.
Oh, and were you up here or where were you living at that time?
I lived in Turlock.
In Turlock.
All right, well, it's a long story. We had known each other. His wife, Hazel and I were close friends when, in the years when his children and my children went all through school together in high school and everything, Turlock High. So one day the phone rang and he said, this is Bud Andrews. And I said, oh, hello. And he said, I'm in Los Angeles and I'd like to come down and see you. He said, did you know Hazel died? I said, yes, I heard that. So he said, and she'd only been gone about 4 weeks. So he came down to visit me in El Centro. And so he said to me, you know what? I'm so lonesome and I don't have anything to do. Are you working or anything? And I said, no. And he said, well, will you go on a vacation with me for 1 week? And I said, I don't know. I've never done that. And I said, I'll tell you one thing, if my father was alive, I'd never go do it. He would beat me to death.
Right.
But I said, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
So I packed my bag and off we went, and I didn't tell anybody I was going.
Absolutely.
And neither did he.
It's your life.
Well, that was really crazy.
Anyway, you married him then, and you lived together. Now, were you here in this facility together, or?
Well, no, when we got married, we lived in Turlock.
Yeah.
And he owned Don Pedro Pumps, and he was a very rich man. Money was no object. And so we lived in Lake Tahoe. We had a home in Lake Tahoe. We had a home in Capitola. And then we traveled a lot.
Yeah.
And I had a very, very good life.
That is wonderful. That is a beautiful story.
Isn't that wonderful?
It is. It truly is. You had 98 years of really a fascinating life.
Right.
And I so thank you for sharing it with us.
Well, my pleasure. That was fun.
Yes, yes, I enjoy it. Okay, this is such fun doing this because these are lives, and I forgot to ask her questions too about, okay, what's your viewpoint of the people then, and were the girls in the sorority different than the young women now, and all of these things. But you get an idea of how people lived, some of the people lived back in those days. And we're going to keep on doing this, so that we hope you've enjoyed this program. And that's Viewpoint for today.